The lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. This is the great Kybalion by three initiates, the Hermetic philosophy for tens of centuries. I was going to say tens of thousands of centuries, tens of thousands of years, possibly. Who knows? I'm going to extract the best bits from the Kybalion and give you some practical application for them in the modern world. Hopefully, you can gain some insight into one of the areas of your life, any sort of problem, any sort of goal in, your spiritual quest, finding your purpose, finding more meaning and fulfillment in your life, physically challenging yourself, feeling more energy and more vitality and more beauty within yourself, challenging your mind to grow your intelligence, your knowledge, your wisdom, expanding your love and family, having a greater social cause and being more a part of your community, being more of a leader in your business or in your career, and lastly, increasing your self-worth and your net worth, so your finances. So let's start with law number 1 of 7, mentalism. The law of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. Now, I don't know, I'll have to look this up, but Aristotle had a very similar quote where basically everything we see in the world is made up in our mind. Now, I don't want to get too crazy into the science and the physics of this, but everything we see is filtered through the thalamus, which acts as a filtering mechanism of the brain. So we perceive electromagnetic radiation, which comes through our eyes, which filters through the thalamus, which then goes into our brain. So we're not actually seeing reality as it is. We're not seeing actuality, the real world, whatever that is. We're seeing our own version of reality. If you gathered 100 people in a room and you were all looking at a tree, and everyone left the room, and you asked every person, okay, what did the tree look like? And you got a very clear understanding and description of what the tree looked like. Everyone's going to give you a different answer. Everyone sees the world completely differently and is filtered through our highest values. Your values are things that you're intrinsically inspired to do, that no one needs to remind you to do, that you love doing, that you just do because you just love doing them. What are the things that you just do and you just love doing it? You can't explain why you love it. You just get up and you do it. You don't need to be reminded for it, regardless of race, ethnicity, gender. All values are completely different. So understanding the first law of mentalism is that I'm seeing the world different to you. I'm experiencing the world differently. Now, as we get further into the laws and as you dive further into your quest of becoming a master of transformation, you'll start to realize that we can access and transcend above our sensory perceptions, above our current reality, where space and time, cause and effect, past and future all merge together. And instead of having an experience, you have an emperience, right? So empyrean was a word created from by Dante, used it in his writings, and it basically Spain above the atmosphere, an empyrean. So that's hopefully what I can help you to start on your start taking some more steps on your journey towards having more of an experience, because that is where you have a tier of gratitude, your love, presence, gratitude, wisdom, inspiration. And you're now, instead of experiencing the world, you're having something that you can't describe, something that is intangible. You can't touch it. Something is inaudible. You can't hear anything. It's just kind of silence, but there's noise, and you might be speaking to someone or hearing something, but you don't know where it's coming from. It's everywhere, but everything's silent. It's really fucking trippy. So law one, understand that the universe is made up in your head, pretty much. Okay. Law number two of correspondence, the law of correspondence: as above, so below, as below, so above. In the book, they give a great metaphor of, as the slimy green algae at the bottom of the sea is to us, we are to some more celestial, transcendent beings or life form out there in the universe. To think that we are the only life form that exists is, I think, ignorant and ignoring the beauty of life. What is to say that the universe is not basically a human being? Because they actually took a picture of, I think of the article, they took a picture of the universe, of space, and they compared it to the brain. And who is to say that, like, what is life? Is this lamp? Is that living? Is this a life form? Is an ant a life form? Is a blade of grass? Is a tree? Is the sun a form of life? Is the Super Andromeda, what's it called, Alpha Centauri, as our universe, is that a life form? Because if our galaxy and star system is not a life form, and if an atom at Planck's scale, as far as you can go in, if that's not life, then what the fuck is life? Right? So law of correspondence, as above, so below, states that within an atom, the smallest we can go down to, a quantum, and even at the quantum level, quantum physics still displays all of these universal laws: the law of polarity, the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect. Everything at the quantum level is displaying this sentient sort of innate intelligence to it. It has an order to it that we can observe. And as again, up to the astronomical level, so we've gone from the atomical level, the atom, to the astronomical in space. And then now we can see, oh my God, it has all of the same principles, has the creation and destruction, and has the one into the many. It has the polarities of both gravitation and radiation, and positive and negative, and hot and cold, and dark and light. Oh my God, wow. So it's really like opening your mind, and instead of being stuck in our human paradigm of, oh, well, humans are the most intelligent, humans are the only ones who have consciousness, and we're the only ones that exist in life. It's like, man, what's to say that the star, so a star, an asteroid, crashed into Earth and delivered some sort of chemical reaction and different substances that started the process of creating us. So we grew as tiny single cell organisms at the bottom of the ocean. It's like, what's to say that the single cell organism isn't as intelligent and as conscious as who we are? Right? How can you say it? Because we came from that. So that created who we are. Anyway, I'm kind of going on a bit of a philosophical rant here. Law number 3, vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Now, what the fuck does that mean? Does that mean that we're all sitting on one of those vibrational exercise machines? No. What it means is nothing rests, nothing stays still, because the flow of life and death is a continuous motion. We're constantly growing or dying. There's no in between. As much as the growth and the destruction is in balance, we are never actually in a perfect state of balance for more than a moment. We're either growing or we're dying. In order to gain intelligence, we spend money on books, on courses. So we're destroying our finances and destroying our time and converting that into mental wisdom. So you cannot gain something without losing it. You cannot have life unless there's death at the same time. So it's like everything is constantly exchanging, ebbing and flowing. Even a river that has dried up, the dirt and the soil that is underneath is still going through a process of, like, the little dirt going, hey, can we have some water here? But the dirt is slowly destroying itself. And I don't know what happens to, I'm not a geologist. I don't know what happens to dirt over a long period of time that doesn't get water, but it doesn't just stay the same, does it? So if dirt that doesn't get water over a long period of time gets drier and drier and drier, it's changing, it's vibrating, it's moving. Think of vibration as change. Things are constantly changing. The only thing permanent is that things are changing. And the other side of that metaphor is, if it's constantly raining, it becomes an ocean. So it's like, but then if the rain stops, then the ocean dries up, and it's like, oh my God, there's so much to think about. You really get lost in the, well, at least I get lost in the rabbit hole of this book. Law number 4, my favorite, polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Let me get this quote right. Everything has a nature. Everything is same in nature, but different in degree. There you go. Nailed it. Woo! All right. Don't you love that when you can use your photographic, autographic mind to retain the information that you get, because it's linked to my highest values anyway. So everything is the same in nature, but different in degree. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, so if I have a bottle of hot water, they actually drink hot water in Asia. I had some hot water out of a machine for the first time when I was in the Chinese airport for my layover. It was actually quite delicious, hot water. Imagine you have a hot bottle of water, right? Okay, perfect example. A Chinese man who is used to drinking what we would call in Western society hot water or warm water comes over to little old Australia and has normal tap water. What does he call the temperature of his tap water? Does he call it hot or cold? He is going to drink the water and be like, oh, this water's cold, because the degree of temperature he is used to having is hotter than the cold. Okay, so it's a 20-degree day now. We just had a 30-degree day yesterday. So today is cold. But if today was 40 degrees, I would say today is hot. And then you go even further and then you go, it's 5 degrees. Oh my God, this is cold. But compared to -5 degrees, it's fucking warm. So everything is a degree. So think of sound. There's a high note, but you can always go higher and you can always go lower. And it's a contrast and comparison between the two notes. Color, we can only distinguish color because there are different. We can only distinguish color because there are different colors and there's contrast. Now, did you know this is a little side note. Did you know in Russia, they have two different names for the color blue, and they can now distinguish they have a sharper focus to pinpoint out the different shades of blue. Whereas if you show someone in Australia, hey, are these two color blues the same or are they different? Are they the same shade or are they different? And the Australian person goes, no, they're the same. They're exactly the same color. Someone in Russia, because they have two names that have been brought up to compare the two, they can see it. So when we are aware that we are constantly in a game of comparisons and we're constantly comparing our happy moments in life to our sad moments in life, we're constantly comparing our warm, high emotions to our cold and dark and low emotions, we can start to become more centered and grounded of our thinking process, of our acting process, of our perceiving process. We start to see the world differently because remember, law number one, we all see the world completely differently. Law number two, oh my God, that other person is just like me, as above, so below. If I think they're above, we're the same. If I think they're below, we're the same. But it's when you can see that they are neither above or below you, and you can communicate your heart to their heart and see how everything is connected, everything is growing, everything is moving, they're helping you, you're helping them, then your awareness expands and we go to that next level, the next level of polarity. Someone who is, okay, let's go finance. Someone who makes $100,000 and then spends and then spends $200,000, they are more infatuated with spending money than they are with saving money. So because they're not aware of the two opposites, and he's or she or they or them is spending so much money, they're not aware of the opposite of, oh, okay, in order for me to spend more, I must make more. Okay, it's the same thing. In order to be happier, I must be more sad. I must be more depressed. I must be more, right? Now, I'm not saying go out and make yourself as super depressed as possible. But what the balance is to be like, okay, in every moment, there is both. In every moment, there is polarity. And if I separate the polarities with time and space, hence, I'm happy at home, I'm sad at the gym, or I make money at work and I spend money at home. When you can see that when you're at work, you're both spending and saving money at the same time. You're investing in yourself at work, and when you're at home, you're making money, you're gaining value because you're resting, you're expanding your awareness, you're doing research, you're connecting with your wife or your husband. So if you can connect the two, and then same thing with the gym or at home, it's like, oh, I hate going to the gym because XYZ, or I love at home because I get to sleep in my bed, right? That's for me. I love my bed. I saw an Instagram quote the other day and it said, my bed is my happy place. Sometimes when I want to be happy, I just get in my bed. I'm like, yeah, I totally relate. So imagine I'm infatuated with my bed. My bed makes me happy. But when I go to the gym, it makes me sad because I don't feel I have it. There's no bed at the gym. There's no privacy at the gym. Okay, let me change your thinking because you have just separated time and space with your happiness and your sadness. The law of polarity states that you're in every moment constantly happy and sad at the same moment. When you're happy externally in your bed, you're comparing it to a moment internally where you're sad. This is proven. This is anti-memories. Otherwise you'd go insane if you didn't store the equal and exact opposite in your brain at the same time. You can look up, just Google anti-memories, and you can read about that in that article. So how do I fix this? Well, I'm going to tell you. At the gym, where do you have the same energy as at home? Where do you rest and where do you have privacy at the gym? Oh, okay. So when you're doing deadlifts, afterwards you rest. You sit down on the bench and you relax. There's your resting. Where do you have your privacy? Oh, I have headphones on. I feel like I'm in my own world. Oh my God, I close my eyes. So now at the gym, I'm going to my happy place, which is resting and closing my eyes in privacy. And then ask yourself at home, when you're in bed, I know this is for me, I'm happy because I'm laying in bed, but I'm unconscious of what I'm sad about. Because I know, and I'm sure you do too, if you're laying in your bed and you're feeling really happy, you're probably thinking about, oh, yesterday I pushed myself so hard, or today I have so much work to do. I've got to get up and do this and do that. And oh my God, I have this thing to worry about. You're thinking about sad things unconsciously whilst you're being happy. So that's the law of polarity and how to get around it. Law number 5, rhythm. So this is connected to law number 3, and you'll see that sort of pattern as these laws go on. Law of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. If you have a pendulum, like there's a really cool physics experiment YouTube video where this professor holds up a very heavy fucking ball on a big string in the classroom, and he holds it right. He takes it and he brings it all the way to the left. He stands against the wall and he has his head up against the wall so he can't move, and he holds the ball right at his face. So he lets the ball go and everyone's like, oh my God, it's going to swing back further and smack him in the face. Okay, this is part of Newton's law. What stays in motion, what's in motion stays in motion unless there's another force to stop it. There's inertia, there's momentum. So no other extra force. He's not being pushed. There's not wind. So he holds it right at his face and he lets the ball go. Everyone thinks it's going to smack him there. Swings one way, swings back the other. It goes to the exact same spot it was just in. Doesn't hit him in the face. It kind of like kisses him on the nose where he dropped it from. So this is like your happiness, your sadness, your light, your dark, your hot, your cold, your highs, your lows. This is what goes up must come down. What swings to the left will also swing to the right. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. When you're listening to a beautiful piece of music, there are high notes, there are low notes, there are pauses in lyrics, there are rises in lyrics, there are different instruments, there's a rhythm, there's a flow, there's a pace, there's a tempo. And imagine listening to music on 2 times speed. It's not going to work. Imagine, when you go for a walk, it's you're getting into the rhythm. Now, how do we have a practical use for the law of rhythm? Here it is. Align your individual and inner rhythm with the outer rhythm of the universe. So, great example, every day. What's something that's absolutely certain? This, depending on where you live, the sun will rise and the moon will fall. Well, the moon rises and falls as well. But the sun and the moon rotate around the earth. So humans have done this intuitively, and lots of animals do this, or some animals have adapted to do the other way, where when it's night, we go to sleep and we rest. At night, we rest and digest. It's dark, so we go into our unconscious mind. And then in the day is where we get up and challenge ourselves, and that's where we're awake, and that's where we're more sympathetic and we're getting shit done, you know? So that's aligning yourself with the rhythms. If you want to grow your business, there is a rhythm and a life cycle to growing your business. Tony Robbins compared a business to a baby. When you first have a baby, you need to watch over it and do everything for it. And there's only you, and you're going to do all the diapers and the shitting, and it's like out of control, and you're trying to figure it all out. When you have a business, it's the same thing. You're doing it all on your own. You're trying to figure out what the fuck you're doing. You've never done this before. You're asking for lots of help, and it's kind of chaotic. You need to keep an eye on it all the time. And then as the baby and as the business grows older, they become a bit more independent, and you can go off and do your own thing. You don't need to be the sole person watching over it the whole time. So that is how you can apply the law of rhythm to your life. Is, okay, what's my goal? Who am I? How do I align who I am and what my goals are with the rhythms and the flows of the universe? What a simple question to answer. Law number 6, cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to the laws. What is chance? What is luck? Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. How did I prepare? What caused me to prepare? Was I set up for it when I was born? Was I set up for it when my dad fucked my mum? Was I set up for it when grandpa fucked grandma? Was I set up for it when great-grandma fucked great-grandpa? Right? So everything has a cause, and everything creates effects. So how do we pinpoint down if something is lucky or unlucky? If a rock falls down off a cliff and kills you, is that unlucky? Or was there a cause for that rock falling down? Did the sun cause the rock to... Wow, we're doing a lot of geological metaphors. I like it. The sun causes the rock to dry out, and then the earth shakes and makes the rock loose, and then an animal walked across, and then the rock... So what caused the rock to fall down and hit you? And what effect did that have? What effect did that have on the family of who was killed? What effect did that have on the other drivers on the road? What effect did that have the workplaces of those people that were held up in traffic? What effect did it have on the ambulance driver? So it's like, if we try and nail down what's the cause, what's the effect? Was I lucky? Was I unlucky? It's like it's just like the law of rhythm. Everything is constantly in flow and moving. So if everything's constantly and moving, is everything predetermined, or do we have free will? So I think the Kybalion here is lacking the free will sort of piece, but I think they make up for it where they talk about hey, when you are aware that there is no luck, there is no chance, there is a beauty, there is a divine order to the universe. And when you release yourself from the logical reasoning of trying to find out, okay, why did that happen? What's this doing? Or what trying to figure it out logically, it's like, okay, let me let go of that and be like, I'm my own cause. I'm creating my own effect. I'm taking control. When I align myself and the laws that I live by with the laws of the universe, remember how I was saying from an atom, atomical to astronomical, it's the same laws. So if I align their universal laws. So if I align myself, my daily rituals and habits and ways of thinking, my laws that I live by with the laws of the universe, I have the greatest opportunity to transcend cause and effect and create my own effect. There is law number 6, cause and effect. Law number 7, the last one. Gender. This is very similar to polarity. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests itself on all planes. Let's see if I can get a quote on gender. How few original thoughts or original actions are performed by the average person. Are not the majority of persons mere shadows and echoes of others having stronger wills or minds than themselves? The trouble is that the average person dwells almost altogether in his me consciousness and does not realize that he has such a thing as an I. He is polarized in his feminine principle of mind and the masculine principle in which is lodged the will is allowed to remain inactive and not employed. So in this example, this quote unquote average person is doing more thinking than acting. If you're thinking more, thinking is a very feminine sort of thing. So I'm going to sit back and think and mull over my emotions, where masculine is, right, let's fucking go out. Let's get it. Let's take the action. Let's kill the fucking gorillas. Let's bring them back. Let's eat the fucking liver. Let's fucking go. Let's fuck all the women. Let's go. Like, let's, oh, right? It's not thinking. It's just acting, right? So if you do not allow yourself to switch between the masculine and feminine principles, thinking and acting, creating and destroying, feeling your emotions and grounding your emotions, then you're missing out on growth and you will just become an average sort of person. So yeah, I don't really understand why. Well, I kind of do get it, but the whole thing of back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, where it was very popular for, it was very clear the woman stayed at home and did all the cooking and the cleaning, looked after the kids, which is feminine, right? And then the masculine went to work, made the money, provided, supported, yada yada. Now, the Kybalion and these Hermetic principles state that instead of delegating the feminine to your wife, why not step up and integrate the feminine into your own life? So now, instead of letting the wife do all of the looking after the kids, you come home and now you're playing with the kids and doing more feminine. You're maybe cooking dinner. You are expressing your emotions to your wife. Oh yeah, I was trying to make this deal and it didn't go through. And you have a little cry, and you go out on your own and you connect to the beach and you go walking barefoot in the jungle and you start doing more feminine things. And then your wife also starts, she has her own business. She starts training really hard in the gym. This is what's called androgyny, where opposites strive to integrate each other. The masculine wants to become feminine, and the feminine wants to become masculine. The greater the society of wealth, so wealthier societies have a higher level of androgyny, masculine and feminine integration, which is how you're getting all these transgender people and all this kind of, like when a man says he feels like a woman, like it's fine to get a sex change or whatever, that's fine. But I feel like a woman all the time when I want to look nice, when I want to fucking connect with my emotions, when I want to cry, when I want to walk on the beach on my own, it's like I feel like a woman then, but I'm not labeling it like, oh my God, I'm a man stuck in a woman's body. It's like, no, I'm a man feeling emotions, which is a feminine thing, which is completely fucking fine. When a woman goes out and does masculine things, it's not because they want to be a fucking man. It's just human behavior and the laws of the universe stating that in order to be feminine, you must also be masculine. And if you suppress one, other people will express it and they'll eventually fuck you off. Anything that is unconscious that you're not aware of will slowly be expressed in the outer world until you are conscious of it. This is why you get fucking wives being like, well, you're not listening to me, so I went and fucked some other dude. It's like the guy wasn't being feminine enough. The guy was not paying it. The girl's like, oh, well, you don't care about us and the family. All you do is work. And the guy's like, what do you mean? Are you fucking serious? You go out and spend all my money all day. You sit at home without a job and you fucking complaining? What? And then she gets smacked, right? Sometimes women need to get hit. That was a joke. So the key there is if the man connected and wasn't shy of expressing his opposite feminine to his wife and connected with the wife and connected with the kids on a more emotional level, then he would understand that all of the work that she does and how hard it is and the emotions that she's feeling. If he is not connected with his own emotions, he won't be able to connect and understand with her emotions. That's masculine and feminine. Feminine, if the feminine doesn't go out and go after big challenges and fucking kick ass and push really hard and challenge themselves in a certain way and just take action and, if all they do is sit on the beach and meditate, they're not going to understand the work that the man puts in. So by expressing both masculine and feminine sides, it allows you to understand and develop yourself and others. Those are the laws of the Kybalion. Let's see what else I've highlighted here. The possession of knowledge, unless accompanied by a manifestation and expression in action, is like the hoarding of precious metals, a vain and foolish thing. Knowledge, like wealth, is intended for use. The law of the use is universal, and he who violates it suffers by reason of his conflict with natural forces. Woo! That's the Kybalion. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.